Today is your day, and you can feel it. This time that has passed in your life that has caused you to feel this shift, this identity shift. Perhaps there's been pain with that you're feeling you're losing yourself in some way. But another part of you is saying, this feels exciting. This feels right. This is the direction I need to go. But perhaps we're feeling a little hesitant. Maybe we're feeling a little tight. So today I want to share with you a couple things you can try to do to help expedite that momentum and get you to go in a direction that you're feeling called towards. And for those that are new to the channel, welcome. And for those that have been here before, welcome back. I'm happy you're watching again. And if you also want to be a part of the community at a deeper level, click the button below. It'll send you over to my website and go ahead and fill out the information. You'll be a part of my monthly newsletter, and I will send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide as a thank you. In that community, we talk about my rule of 3 method to rebuild purpose back into your life, rediscover who you truly are, and move towards an ego-soul integrated lifestyle. You are feeling ready for change, an identity change. But what is holding you back? So one terminology for my rule of 3 method I call loop patterns. Loop patterns aren't trivial. Sometimes they can be, but oftentimes they usually trail down into something more deeper in the unconscious. But loop patterns are essentially thoughts, images wrapping themselves up that creates a story. So for example, let's say whether you were young or in high school, doesn't really matter, and you were giving this presentation in class. Maybe you stuttered, maybe you forgot the whole presentation altogether, and then people started laughing. Or maybe after the fact, people were gossiping, saying how bad it was, and that left a particular flavor, a particular memory, and sort of downloaded particular language in your mind. I'm not good enough at this, or that was embarrassing, that was such a failed thing, whatever the language pattern is. Now, what ends up happening is, the next time around, if you're ever in a situation similar to that, what happens is either thoughts will kick in images, picturing what happened prior. You can have words creeping in, not this again, oh no, they're going to laugh like last time, or perhaps it comes in as a feeling. You can feel the memory, the exact memory and its contours whenever that comes up. Now, the first thing we want to try to do is interrupt that loop. If you can interrupt the loop before it begins, then it's harder for it to capture you, because it's the momentum and the ruminating that builds up these memories and these moments. And so what are a couple things you do to break that interrupt? Well, first, it's acknowledging that you are going to do this. I am going to look to interrupt, but you're not doing this through aggressive, angry, bitter state. You're doing this from a place of curiosity, adventure, compassion, love, and a firm hand. You want to channel that energy from an archetypal lens. You want to channel the king energy that creates borders and it protects and grants blessings and it grants motivation and inspiration to its people. You want to be in that sort of state of mind. And so you call upon yourself, I'm going to start paying attention to my loop patterns. Then, if you're ever in a scenario where you notice, first you have to catch it. So if you start to catch the loop, first is building the awareness of the loop itself. So what I would do, this is what I did a lot, I pass it on to my clients and it works wonders. Have a journal and start logging your loops. What scenario, what context, especially if it's a particular trauma, particular pain that's so buried, sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly where these pains are coming from. And so you want to start at the surface level. And so start writing them down. Well, it seems like every time I'm in a social setting, I tend to, for some reason, I'm normally very talkative, I get very held back, I get very tight, I don't feel like I want to contribute to the conversation at all. And okay, well, what happens then? Well, if I don't do it, now I feel like I'm in my own head and I overthink the scenario, and then when I start to think that these people are not going to think I'm cool, they're not going to like me. And then as you start to unpack, you will start to trail and find some level of origin as to why are you doing these sort of behaviors and thoughts and images in this particular context. First, just build awareness. Once you start to build an awareness, then we can begin the process of interrupting. So interrupting the loop, you can do in many ways. The first way you can do it is through a vocal command, saying stop. You can say it, if you're alone, of course, you can say it vocally. Or if you're obviously in a public setting, you can just yell stop in the middle of it. That'd be pretty funny. It'll get a great laugh. But you do it internally, your inner voice. You could say stop. Just say stop and feel that space. Be comfortable with that space. You're commanding it. Command it to pause. The second way you can do it is change the setting. So if, let's say you're seated and you're experiencing it, get up and move around. Get up and go for a walk. Get up and do a chore. Or talk to somebody different. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. If you change the environment, create some motion, motions can help sort of distract that environment. That's, the state that you're in. Now, as you start doing that for a little while, at some point, there are some loops you cannot break through these methods. You cannot break through observing, and once you observe, then you start to interrupt the loop. Once you start to interrupt the loop, then getting into the stage of not ruminating on it, breaking that pattern of sitting with it for long periods of time and festering in it. But even if you go through these 3 stages, there's going to be some moments, some context, some memory that you cannot clear away with these practices. It's not really going to do it anymore because it requires deeper work that sits below the conscious mind into the unconscious realm where all the mysteries lay. And this is the shadow work. But as you build up the first 3 steps, your confidence will build, your belief will build. And then perhaps at that point, you can tackle these head on because that's the way you have to. You have to tackle it head on. And that's when you can channel the warrior archetype, the soldier archetype that is loyal to the ideal that we move towards a soul ego integrated lifestyle. And is loyal to that ideal. It is disciplined, stays consistent, is courageous, but also humble and knows its limitations. That, combined with the king, you venture inward. But of course, there's many archetypal energies. You have the magician, which is the analytical, the thinker, the holder of wisdom. Then you have the lover, the individual who is the sensual, feels life through senses, touch, smell, sight, and sound, and sees a sort of, I am in nature, nature is in me. You can feel everything around you. But it is also compassionate and gracious and loving and comforting. And so having all these energies facing inward to go head on against the shadows of your life, the demons in your life, so you can unpack them, make peace with them, and eventually move towards either letting them go, integrating, and reimagining and reinterpreting your life moving forward. Because stories are a part of your life. They're going to be a part of your life. But what we can do is reinterpret and reimagine our stories that brings us closer to a divine life, brings us closer to an integrated life, which at the base level is a great place to start for purpose. A great purpose is integrating, because once you integrate, you're going to get this deeper calling. You are connecting to something bigger, and you can do that. You absolutely can do that. Just be patient, stay consistent, and it will come for you. It will. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. If this resonated with you, I would love for you guys to join my community. Again, link in the description below. Sign up. I will send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide as a thank you from me to you. It's a community I've wished I had when I went through my phase of identity loss, total chaos, confusion, and then now that I'm here, I am so excited to share this space with you. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.